I hope you're all having a great week. My name is Pam Palmater, and I'm the host of the Warrior Kids podcast, which is taped before our famous live studio audience, Cricket. How are you all doing? Are you all excited for summer? I know I am. Summer is my favorite time of year because I love the warm sun on my face and watching all of the beautiful butterflies flying around the pretty flowers. In the summer, everything just looks so colorful. Where I live, the trees have grown out their leaves and it looks like a sea of all different shades of green. And the trees are just full of all different kinds of singing birds. But then again, I really like the fall too. It's still warm and sunny, but just cool enough to wear a cozy sweater. I just love when all the leaves turn different colors on the trees and you can hear them rustling in the wind. It's almost like the trees are talking to one another. Well, if I'm being honest, the winter is pretty awesome too. Whenever there is a big snowfall, all of the trees get covered in snow and make our neighborhood look like a winter wonderland. But I can't just talk about 3 of the seasons and forget about the 4th one, spring. Spring is pretty special too. The trees don't have their leaves yet, but you can see the tiny little buds that will eventually become leaves. And you know what else? In the spring, you can see where all the birds' nests are in the trees because there's no leaves. Sometimes I just walk around in the springtime and count how many birds' nests I see in the trees. Hey, that reminds me. Our Mi'kmaq word of the day is mi'kmaq. Can you try saying it? Mi'kmaq. Mi'kmaq means tree, but Mi'kmaq peoples have lots of different words for all different kinds of trees in the forest. The word for forest is nipukt. So the word for tree is mi'kmaq, and the word for forest is nipukt. I wonder what the word for leaf is. Well, in Mi'kmaq, the word for leaf is nipi. So let's try saying them all. Can you try saying tree? Mi'kmaq. That's right. And the word for forest? Nipukt. Great job. And the word for leaf? Nipi. Wonderful, you've got all 3 of them. Now you are completely prepared for today's Warrior Kids podcast, which is all about trees. Many Native peoples believe that trees are our relatives, just like our family. They are part of all living things in nature that live with us and around us. We all know that trees are living beings because they grow from a tiny seed all the way up into a huge big tree. They can even live longer than humans. Sometimes they can live for hundreds, even thousands of years. That's pretty old. Trees can even get sick. Sometimes naturally occurring fungus can make a tree sick, or insects can spread diseases in between trees. So when a mi'kmaq or tree gets a disease, it can cause spots on their leaves or turn the whole nipi or leaf brown. So it's important to make sure that we humans don't do anything to make the trees sick. Trees are one of the most amazing relatives that we have. They do so many important jobs. They provide homes for birds and insects and small animals, as well as provide food for humans. Did you ever see an apple tree? What about an orange tree? Or a pear tree? I've even seen a lemon tree. My sister used to live in California, and she had a bunch of lemon trees in her backyard, and she used to make the best homemade lemonade with them. Trees also clean the air around us. They absorb some of the pollution and harmful gases like carbon dioxide from the air, and they trap it in their leaves. Trees not only take the bad gases out of the air, but they release oxygen back into the air. And all humans need oxygen to breathe. So we should be very thankful for all of our tree relatives that help us breathe. And did you know something else super interesting? Trees talk to one another. I know, it's hard to believe because, well, they don't have any mouths and they certainly don't have any tongues. But scientists who have studied trees have found that they communicate in different ways. They communicate through the fungus that grows around their roots, all underground. So, we can't see them or hear them talking, but it's always happening underneath the earth. And they don't just talk either. Sometimes older trees can share nutrients or food with one another, especially to the smaller baby trees, also called seedlings. These are some of the reasons why many native peoples have very special stories and teachings about trees and their important relationship to all living things, including humans. But it's not just native peoples that have special relationships with trees. Japanese peoples have long engaged in the practice of tree bathing. You heard me right. Tree bathing is also known as forest bathing, and it's easy to do. You just go outside near some trees or go to a forest and just be there with the trees. The whole point is to just relax and appreciate the trees and breathe in the clean air. And did you know that scientists have recently found that doing this can actually make you healthier? Yeah, scientists have found that tree bathing can make your mind feel happier and your body feel healthier. Isn't that amazing? Something that's so easy to do is good for you. Trees can do a lot of amazing things. I'm glad we talked about trees on our podcast today. I think we learned an awful lot today, in fact. We learned how to say tree in Mi'kmaq, Métis. We learned how to say leaf in Mi'kmaq, Nipi. And finally, we learned how to say forest in Mi'kmaq, Nibukt. And we learned that trees are living things that talk to one another and can even make humans healthier. So, warrior kids, our mission for this week is to celebrate and appreciate our relatives, the trees. So what will you do to be a warrior kid this week? Will you draw a picture of a tree in your neighborhood? Will you share some of what you learned about trees on this podcast with your parents or teachers? Or will you and your family volunteer to go plant some baby trees? I know what I'm going to do. Oh, okay. I know what Cricket and I are going to do. First, we are going to go take a tree bath. But then, I'm going to go find my big son Mitchell, who is an expert tree planter, so he can help teach me how to plant some baby trees. But just in case you want some ideas on how to learn more about trees, our relatives, I will post a link to this amazing Mi'kmaq coloring book all about trees. It shows you how trees make food, how to identify different kinds of trees, and how Mi'kmaq peoples used to make baskets out of trees. Not only will the coloring be fun, but you will learn all about trees at the same time. But in case you're not into coloring and you're more into reading books, then I know the perfect book for you. It's called Nibukt, and it's a Mi'kmaq story about the importance of the forest to Mi'kmaq peoples. The book even includes one of our oldest legends about the very first pine trees. And it's a free book available to download online. So I'll post a link to that as well. Thank you all for listening, and I hope you send me your tree artwork and your Warrior Kids stories so that I can start decorating our Warrior Kids website. Don't forget the website address, www.warriorkidspodcast.com. Till next time, later Gators.